Good afternoon, students. Today I'm going to teach you about the second poem, Blow, Bugle, Blow, written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And Alfred Lord Tennyson is a British poet. This Blow, Bugle, Blow is part of his bigger poetic collection called as The Princess. One of his poem about music, nature, and the way he enjoys the echoes, natural music. So this poem uh, is written for you to enjoy a wonderful scene from Ireland, where he visited in 1848, especially the place called Cluny. It's a mountainous Killarney, a mountainous region which is known for especially Eagle Nest, which was very well known for its beauty, glorious scenes, natural scenes, and so here in this poem he explains to you the natural scenes with his imagination, added to his imagination and a little philosophy of love. So. I wanted to show you what is a bugle because most of us have not seen. It almost has the feature of uh, trumpet. And it almost has the feature of trumpet, and you can see these were used by soldiers, especially soldiers or NCC cadets in their marching. So the first answer is the splendor falls on castle walls and snowy summits old in story. The long light shakes across the lakes and the wild cataract leaps in glory. Blow, bugle, blow, said in the wild echoes flying. Blow, bugle, answer. Echoes, dying, dying, dying. So that's what he wants to write his poem about. The splendor. He starts it with an abstract noun called as a splendor. Splendor means a miraculous feeling of a miracle, something wonderful happening in your life. So that cannot become a physical feature of falling on something. But here he says the splendor falls on castle walls. A castle is a palatial building built by built by those people in England and European countries for very rich people build palatial buildings, a big palace like buildings called as castle. You can go to Google if you want to see various kinds of castles and splendor falling on it. Now we wonder what is the splendor. We come to understand it in the third line of the poem. The long light shakes across the lakes. So it must be the splendor of the white sunlight falling on the wall of the uh, uh, wall of the castle. Why is it a miracle? Because in the second stanza line he says, and snowy summits old in story. So snowy summits, he sees across his wall, at the background of this castle maybe, snowy summit. You can see these mountains which are now snow on them. The snowy summits on them. So it's a winter season. And summer sunlight falling on the castle is a miracle because during winter season you don't see so much of sun in England and other countries. So falling, that was a miraculous feeling. So he says the splendor falls on the walls of the castle. The snowy summits old in story. So he says, I'm going to talk the summits, the historical mountains that I'm speaking of to you is historical mountains. They are not something imagination out of my imagination. They are historical mountains, which speaks of the beauty of the mountains. The long light shakes across the lake. Exactly near it, there are lots of lakes. When you see the eagle nest, you can see lakes where the people are going on boats. So you can see the lakes right near the walls, right near the walls of the castle, where the sunlight is falling on them. Now the sunlight doesn't shake; it just falls on them. But then the sunlight is shaking because the water in the lake is simmering or glimmering, and the sunlight seems to be shaking a little. So he says, the long light shakes across the lakes. So shakes and lakes, the first line falls and walls or inner rhyming schemes. And wild cataract leaps in glory. So cataract, as I told, as you know, it's not a cataract means eye disease usually today, but it's not an eye disease. It's a waterfalls. You can see here waterfalls, which is wild here. You can see the wide waterfalls, and that is called as wild cataract. Wild in the sense it is not touched by human being. It flows on its own, and it is wild because it cannot be contained. It is uncontrollable. And leaps in glory. Leaps means jumping in glory. Blow, bugle, blow, set the wild echoes flying. So he's so very happy of the whole of the scenes in nature. He wants now something extra, and that he says he wants a bugle to be blown. And when the bugle blows, the sound is so heavy, it flies across the mountains, the cataract, the castle, and all the things of the lakes and around it, and it echoes heavily. That echoes fly around higher, and then how does it answer to you back? It backs dying, dying, dying. It flies and flies and flies, and then it dies and dies and dies. That's how he's saying. So he wants to enjoy the echo of the Bugle. As I told you, Tennyson visited Ireland in 1848, and then to the place called as the Eagle Nest. This is what is a picture drawn by some artist about. So I told you the falls are there, the water lake is there, and then the snowy peaks are there, and then trees are there. All these, it's a wonderful scenery. And as I told you, the inner rhymes speaks about the iambic tetrameter. And I told you splendor is not a physical feeling. It is completely an abstract noun, and it is made physical here in this stanza. The repetition of the word dying, imitates the echoes, like flying, 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 dying, flying, dying, 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 dying. So it imitates the sound. And then the speaker addresses the bugle directly. He's asking the bugle to be blown, not the soldier to blow the bugle, or some ladies or some gentlemen there to blow the bugle. He asks the bugle to blow. Come on, blow yourselves. That is a kind of using the tool to make a sound like somebody blowing on it. So that's called as apostrophe in in English literary forms. And then blow, 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 blow gives you the repetitive feeling of things. Echoes means repetition, isn't it? So it repeats itself. Stanza 2, oh hark, oh hear, how thin and clear, and thinner, clearer, farther going. Oh sweet, far from cliff and scar, the horns of elfland faintly blowing. Blow, let us hear the purple glens replying. Blow, bugle, blow. Blow, bugle, answer. Echoes dying, 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 replying and dying in this. Oh hark. Oh hark means listen. Listen. Hey, come on, listen. He's giving you some kind of information. Hey, listen. Hey, here, here, here. Come on, listen. How thin and clear. Can you listen to this bugle blowing thin and clear? So in music, you have four kinds of music, four kinds of notes. One is soprano, second one is alto, third one is tenor, fourth one is bass. And those notes are being played by various instruments, or sometimes the very single instrument plays many kinds of notes, but here the sound is just thin and clear. There is no other notes being with that. You can hear it very thin, and it is very clear too. Clear, farther going. Can you listen to it? It's not from somewhere nearby. It is coming very far. Oh, sweet and far from the cliff and scar. It is very sweet to hear. What is a cliff? A small mountains. A scar is maybe the cleavages between the mountains. As I told you, usually we draw the mountains like that, and then there's a cleavage. Or sometimes within a mountain there's a cleavage through which the sound might come through. So he's calling on a scar. Scar is always something torn on a face or some kind of wound that makes it that doesn't heal, and it is always there. That's called a scar. And so he compares that with the cleavages that are on the mountains. So but then he says the horns of elfland faintly blowing. So he now compares the sound. That sound is not coming from somewhere. So we told you the bugle is asking the bugle to be blown. Maybe from the magical land that is called as elfland. British people believe that small kind of people, as I've shown you here, and the fairies. No, they live in a land called a self-land. They come from there to the earth and help these human beings from their sufferings. So these, like in Cinderella, the fairy godmother comes and helps her. In the fairy story of Snow White, you see elves. She lives with the elves. So Hans of elves. So this kind of magic world is there where they imagine that people can always be happy, although they come and relieve them of the suffering. So, Elfland. So he says, can you imagine? Can you see that? Can you hear that? They are blowing. That magical sound is coming from the elves. Blow, let us hear the purple glens reply. Now, come on, blow, blow. Can I listen to this answer from the glen? So as I told you, the glen is a valley. No, it is probably described as a purple because speaker is viewing the scene at sunset. So sunlight has a deep reddish purple tint to it. I've shown you some that maybe during the sunset in the spring season you can see this purple, deep purple here and here somewhere because of the different part of the prism of sunlight, and usually during the sunset you can see such. Now he wants the echoes to be answered from the purple glens. And Bugle answer, echoes dying, dying, dying. Now it's dying. So they answer with the dying sound. The purple glens answer with the dying sound of the echoes. So as I told you, what is hark? Is asking the speaker, is asking the listener to listen to those magical sound from the, because I've told you they blow their horns. They blow their through their horns. High pitches. Elfland, as I've told you already, that is believed by the Old Norse and Anglo-Saxon mythology. They are the race that lived in England, Ireland, and Scotland. So they believe in this mythical place called as Elfland. So these are the elves that is imagined to be living around. Uh, and there are prince and princess and all kinds of things going on in that Elfland. A glen, as I have already told you, and here the interpretation is given as apostrophe because again the purple glen cannot answer, but then the author is asking, come on, purple glen, answer the echoes by dying, dying, dying. Now, what does it answer? So, how does a glen answer? So, glen is again is personified as a person and is asked to answer. So, that is again called as an apostrophe. The third stanza, oh love, they die in yon rich sky, they faint on hill or field or river, our echoes roll from soul to soul and grow forever and forever. Blow, bugle, blow, set the wild echoes flying, and answer echoes, answer dying, dying, dying. Oh love, they die in yon rich sky. They, oh love, oh hark, oh love. Love means, oh my beloved, listen to me. Why did I write this poem? To tell you something. They die in yon rich sky. These echoes always fly high and then die. In the rich sky, in the heaven, the atmosphere, they faint almost, they go high, pitch is higher, but then they die slowly, either maybe on the hill or the field or the river. I don't know, wherever you give the echo sound, they might die. But our echoes, the first person, us, the echo made by us. What is the echo? The love. Oh, love. He calls the love, the romance, romantic feeling that is shared by you and me will roll from soul to soul. Here he says it's a primordial feeling. From the days of Adam and Eve, it keeps on rolling over and over. It never dies. It keeps on rolling from soul to soul, soul to soul, soul to soul. It keeps on coming down and down, down and down and grows forever and ever. It is eternal. It grows forever and ever. It never dies, never dies. Not like the echo, which flies high and then dies. It is not so. Our love remains forever. So blow, bugle, blow. Set the wild echoes flying. Come on. Now you may be asking, come on, let's set our echo of love to fly. And answer echoes, answer, dying, dying, dying. If it is echo, it will die. But if it is our love, it will never die. That is what the poet is trying to tell us. So dying, dying is a repetition which is looking familiar from his. It is being repeated in all three stanzas. Maybe the sunset is also called as, maybe because of sunset you might have used as a word dies. So dies, so the love is not dying here. It is the echo that is dying. Our echoes, as I told you, is the echo of love. So he's again asking the bugle, you blow again, you will die again. But the echo that is blown by us will never die. So I give you the picture of different kind of castle those days, palatial buildings like palace, where the Englishmen lived, and he is this poet. Lord Tennyson. So again, also a different picture of bugle blown by the soldier. If you want to hear the sound, you can go to the YouTube and listen to the sound of a bugle blown. And I thank you for being with me in this class. I hope you understand this. If you have any doubts, you can always question me in the WhatsApp. Thank you.